It's late August. The workmen are starting to arrive for the day's work. It's a bit after 6 a.m. They're going to continue their demolition of the last remnants of the maritime history of this part of Sydney. The last week or so they've started pulling down the last of the passenger terminal wharf. So an activity we'll never see in this part of Sydney again if the Lend Lease proposal goes ahead. There were certain aspects of the development I was starting to warm towards. I'd been beginning to question, oh, maybe it won't be so bad. And then earlier this week, finally some models of what the proposed development and how it will look in the context of the Sydney landscape. It was such a real-world shock of just what this development could become. There's many metaphors that have gone through my mind. The Great Barrier by Lend Lease as opposed to Queensland's Great Barrier Reef, because it literally will be a monstrous dividing wall between the Sydney CBD and Western Sydney. I kept looking at the model from as many different angles to see what it will look like, whether it's coming over the Harbour Bridge, flying over the city, looking at it from the south, looking at it from Pyrmont and the west. I can't help but look at it as not an addition to our city but a barrier. Just a massive monument to corporate greed, bad taste, excess. It just does not look like it's shaping up to be a great addition to our city. Sydney is widely acknowledged already as a great city. Is this going to make it any greater? Plonking what to me is going to look like a little chunk of Dubai or Shanghai or Hong Kong plonked down in the middle of our city? There's been criticisms of people that are against this, calling us NIMBYs, not in my backyard. I always like to remain positive. How would I have been if I'd lived at the bottom of Macquarie Street when they were building the Opera House? Would I be sad about losing my view of the harbour, or ecstatic over gaining this magnificent view of the Sydney Opera House? Now that I've seen all that I've seen, I don't hold a lot of faith. And I genuinely had thought, no, they will build something beautiful here, and I won't lose my view of a slab of concrete, but I'll gain a great view of a wonderful urban development. The more time goes on, the less I think that'll be the case.